Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with a higher vibrational podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info. Hey, welcome everybody for joining us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. We appreciate all of our followers and all those. Make sure you chat with us. We'd love to hear what you have to say or any comments, and please like us and share our page. We have amazing guests every Tuesday. We're very diverse. We're a healthy podcast and spirituality and authors podcast. So we are so excited. And also, if you want to sponsor us, please go to www.sherrylord.com, or if you want to be a guest, email me on that link on our page on the website to let me know what you offer and why you'd like to be a guest on my show. And we have a very special guest today, and we're so excited to have her. She's got a really good topic, and we really want to talk about the topic. It's how to stay young while growing older. This is a really good topic. We always evolve. We're always getting older, but how can we enjoy it more? And we just want to introduce Angelena Craig, and we love having her on our show. She is an author and a yoga instructor and so much more. Welcome, Angelena.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thanks.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about you before we get into the topic? A little bit how you got in your path, and the changes that happened in your life.
Well, when I review my career, I notice that all parts of my career were aligned with who I am as a person. For instance, when I was very young and I had young children, I started a nursery school. I hadn't been
Okay.
trained in it, but I needed it for my child. So
Okay.
from there, I moved to Boston and worked in
Okay.
corporate daycare, and I found out that I had a lot of administrative skills that I didn't even know about. So I became a director of a big daycare center. And from there, I moved into
Okay.
parent education. And and it just kept evolving. I worked with
Okay.
abuse prevention of women and children.
Oh, wow.
And I worked in human services for many years. But then at some point, I left all that and decided to become a yoga teacher.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and I was older, but so many of the people in my class were my age. And I went to Kriplau, which is a well-known training center in yoga. And soon after that, I opened up a yoga center in Boston and taught all over the city as well as in the yoga center. I worked in corporations and colleges and a
Mm.
lot of experiences and had other teachers working in my yoga studio. So at some point, I was moving out of Boston to Newburyport, Mass, and decided I had to end my studio, and I became an itinerant yoga teacher, traveling around Massachusetts and
Okay.
also teaching in other people's studio. But at some point, I decided, what I really am interested in is getting older because it was approaching
Yeah.
becoming a quote elder. And so I wanted to study and learn everything about it. And I started writing essays for the Newburyport newspapers, and it was called Boomer Talk. So,
Mm.
what are baby boomers dealing with? And every month I wrote an article. And that went on for a dozen years. So I had lots of experience writing and editing and researching and learning about the topic. 'Cause what is it we who are growing older really care about? What's important? So that's how this all came about. And now I'm working on to finish a book called How to Stay Young as We Grow Older. And the first thing I want to talk about is that there's just so much fear and loathing on this topic.
Okay.
People are afraid to get old because they associate it with so many negatives. And what's interesting to me is those negative words all start with the letter D. Now think
Oh,
about it. Of course, there's death and dying, but there's debilitation and disease and dementia and dependency and just a whole bunch of words that start with the letter D. And the only thing we can be sure of course, is death and dying. But it's not a given that we're going to be debilitated or dependent or disease.
Okay.
We do have some options. Some things, no, some things are beyond our control, but we do have a lot of control over getting older. And again, it's
Mhm.
attitudes. There are a lot of people that say, I'm too old to do that. And I say, don't let age dictate what you do or do not do. Or they say, oh, I'm not interested. I've been there. I've done that. I'm done with all that. And a lot of older people, they don't take risks. They do the same habitual patterns year after year. And they're afraid to do anything new. They want to play it safe. So, a lot of what my book will be about is to talk about the positives. And before we leave that, I just want to say that older people do a lot of complaining about all the losses, right? You can recognize that. And we have lost a lot of things. It's true. Sometimes we lose friends, we lose our perfect eyesight, our perfect hearing, our perfect strength and flexibility. However, a lot of that we can regain and try new things. We always have to be. So that's one of the ingredients. We have to stay
Okay.
curious, keep growing, keep wanting to be better, keep learning, and be open. But also, I have a whole list. I have a cheat sheet here of
Ah,
what we need to feel gratitude instead of complaining. Count our blessings. What is it? The things we take for granted, like a roof over our head, dinner on the table, clothes in the closet. We take that for granted, but what if every day we can count our blessings and really let ourselves know how much we do have and how much we are at this point in life. Another ingredient is humor. We need a sense of humor. Some people are way too serious. So let's find what's funny in the world. Like, sometimes I think if we look around us, it's like a big cosmic joke, how everything seems to be imploding right now. And it's not funny, and yet we have to see the bigger picture.
yeah.
Um, we have to build community. Sometimes we lose friends and family, and we have to keep um, finding new people sometimes to relate to, kindred spirits. So we need others around us. Um, Let me see what I have. Oh, a really important thing is mindfulness.
Oh, yeah.
We have to pay attention. As we get older, we cannot do multiple tasking because we lose our way. We have to focus. We have to be in the here and now, mindful. And me, who just recently took a fall, my first ever, and I happened to break my hip. So I learned that I wasn't being mindful of where I was in space. And again, we have to pay attention. Uh, so that's a big one. And resiliency. We have, no matter what life throws at us, we have to bounce back. We can't feel defeated. As the Dalai Lama says, never give up, always go forward. So being resilient is a big ingredient to staying young. What else? Staying current. Sometimes it's best to have a group of people that are a mixed age, so that we're not always with people exactly our age, because we all bring something different to the plate.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, yeah, staying current and knowing what's going on around you. Not that we watch the news 24 hours a day, but still, it's a good idea to know what's happening beyond our own selves. We need helpers such as yourself, Sherry, somebody who can see the bigger picture for us, or we need a therapist. If we get depressed or anxious, we need professional people to turn to, realizing we can't do it
Mhm.
all ourselves. And sometimes we have to pay people for that. And some older people sometimes are resistant to spending any money on themselves. But that's really a part of it, of having helpers who can guide us. And then there are all the basics. I don't want to leave out the basics of what are we eating? What is our nutrition? And what are we I don't even like to use the word exercise because so many people have a negative attitude. It's like, oh, I don't need exercise. I exercise plenty. I sweep the floor, take out the garbage, right? I make the bed. That's my exercise for the day. No, every day. Now they're saying a half an hour of
Hmm.
dedicated exercise each
Yeah,
day, paying
it's good for
attention to
you.
our strength, to our stretching, to our balance. All of that is crucial. We have to find ways that we enjoy moving so that we'll keep doing it. Um, and then there's sleep. We can't neglect how we're sleeping. And a lot of people, as we get older, we have trouble getting a good night's sleep. So we have to keep investigating what is going to help. There's a lot of products out there, there's a lot of training out there, but we got to get a good night's sleep. Um, and we want to work on balance. If my
Yeah, the
balance
balance.
had been
Hmm.
better, I wouldn't perhaps have fallen, and that's really detrimental to our health. So, work on balance. And physical therapy is often available to us if we have any of those issues. Um, so those are some of the basics, and also our health care. Are we happy with our health care? In Medicare, you get it free pretty much, but maybe it's not working for us. Maybe we have the wrong doctor, or
Hmm.
maybe we're getting advice that doesn't make sense to us. So we have to go outside the box and bring in complementary and alternative medicine at time. And then there's healthcare and there's self-care. And in
Yeah.
self-care, we have choices, we have options. But if we don't take care of ourselves, the question is, who will? So it's up to us. And the more we can study and learn and research and be our own best doctor and understand, because we know our body better than anybody. We know when it's out of sorts, and then go find the help that we need. So there's a lot involved in staying young. But I think attitude, having a positive attitude, not that we embrace getting older, but we accept it. Acceptance is a big part
Hmm.
of
Yes.
all this. And letting go of the past, letting go of what didn't work, letting go of future thinking all the time, and just sit down and be here now in the moment. So that's part of what this book is going to address. I've had lots of experience writing essays over the 12 years, thinking about everything that we who are boomers or older are addressing and are faced with. We have no real role models, and we
Hmm.
want to age better than past generations. Because then it can be very depressing when we think about maybe how our parents or grandparents grew old and finally died. And we want to do it differently. But we have so many more options now. We have the ability to do our own research and learn how to take better care of ourselves. So, beside teaching yoga, my yoga is mostly done seated because, again, as we get older, we can't get up and down off the floor, or maybe we don't have the
Yeah.
endurance to do an hour class. So, I have started a YouTube channel. It's YouTube slash at Angelena Angelena, Craig, Craig. And you will find 10 right now. I have 10 short segments because I
Ooh.
decided people don't have time, some or interest or attention span to do an hour of a class. But maybe just their lower body needs some help and they could do 20 minutes. Or maybe their neck and shoulders are in trouble and they could do a video in 10 minutes and feel a lot better at the end of it. So, my YouTube channel is something that I've gotten involved with lately. And I also do private and couple classes, as well as group classes, which I'm working on finding new venues. So, those are some, and I am a writer and I do
Yeah.
offer work in editing and content and have a blog. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can go to my website, which is anewageingmovement.com, which will describe all my services. And it also has my blogs, and you can find out more about me. So that's pretty much what I'm about. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to
Yeah,
answer.
I think it's wonderful what you're doing, especially, we do change. I remember from my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, everything's shifted and changed. And my perceptions in life have changed. The one thing that really stood out for me is my sleep. I sleep very little, but I have more energy. I find that I know for everybody it's different. I get 5 hours, but I'm up and I'm ready to go. Um, and it's like I'm getting less sleep. I don't know if that's part of aging or if that's just an individual body thing, with
I
your
think it's, I
cells
think it,
and
I think it's very individual. And I once asked a doctor I
yeah.
really respected, I said, I'm worried. I'm not. They tell me I need 8 hours sleep, 7 or 8 hours, and I'm not doing that. And
Hmm.
her answer was, it doesn't matter how many
Okay.
hours. What matters is how is your energy during the
Yeah.
day. If your energy is high or you're able to take a quick 5 or 10 minute nap, no longer than that, during the day and revive, that's all you need. You don't necessarily need 7 or 8 hours. It's very individual.
Yeah, and I like the
Energy.
idea. Yeah, exactly. Because I know I have a lot of energy and I wake up with these great ideas. So I'm with paper and pen. But I like how you covered as an author. And I think you're an amazing author and writer. And I also feel that, have you ever thought about, you said you do offer editing for others or you do editing for yourself?
I've done all my own editing, and because I had essays for 12 years that I wrote that had to be about 700 words, I learned how to be very concise and make every word count
Yeah.
and eliminate those things that aren't needed. So it's very precise. And because people have a short attention span, we don't want a lot of extra words. So we want to refine it. And I have the ability to do that and help anybody who could use that service.
Do you have any advice for anybody? I know a lot of my clients, not all of them, but a large majority of them, they want to write a book. Some of them are still wanting to write a book. It has been 5 years, and some are writing a book. How can they trust or move forward into what do you do? Is there a technique or something somebody can do to get their book started?
Well, I think it's good to have an outline, to
Yeah.
get your thoughts on paper and maybe make an outline of 10 topics. And as you begin to write, fill in the outline. So maybe
Mhm.
tackle one topic,
Yeah.
but then leave it. Do it and leave it, and then go on to the next. Because sometimes we write and overwrite and overwrite. Instead of
Mhm.
moving forward, we're still stuck on chapter one. So the whole thing is to get the initial manuscript down. That's, the first one. And but people think they write and then they're going to publish, but no, editing is a huge part of it. You write what you think is great and you put it aside for a while. And then you come back and you read it again and you go, oh, no, I can make this better. And you keep doing that over a period of time, and the book will evolve that way rather than saying, I wrote it, it's done. I'm going to find a publisher. I'll self-publish.
Mhm.
That's it. Or give it to other people a chapter at a time to read and make comments, people you trust who are good readers. They read a lot, so they could help you. But a lot of it is focus and
Okay.
determination and belief in yourself. Belief in what you have to say is important, and that's what motivates you. And speaking of that, we need a purpose as we get older.
Yeah.
If we've given up our work or we're working only part-time, we need a reason to get out of bed every day, for one thing, and feel like we're making some kind of difference in the world. So that's really important. That's why writing this book for me and publishing it is my purpose. that I'm dedicated to. And it's taking a long time. Like you say, it sometimes takes 5 years before the final production is out there for anyone to see. But it's your book and you do it your way.
Yeah, that's good advice for a lot of people who are watching. And also as a yoga instructor that you are and teacher, what type of yoga do you do? Is it like gentle yoga? Is it like help strengthen their core? What type of yoga?
Well, I was trained in Kriplau Yoga, which is a major training center in Massachusetts. And so I am primarily a Kripalu teacher. The word Kripalu means compassion.
Okay.
So that's the foundation, feeling compassion for yourself, that you do the best you can. And yes, you may not be able to do what you did 5 or 10 or 15 years ago in yoga, and you just accept this is where my body is now. I would say my classes are gentle, but
Mm-hmm.
they're energetic. And I use the chair. So I don't call it chair yoga because we get out of the chair. The chair is often used just to hold on to lightly to give us a little more stability and work on balance and strength. So, but seated yoga, anybody can do. People come to class at different venues I've taught in wheelchairs or in walkers, and they're so happy that they can do a class and do everything because they don't need to stand. And then again, other classes are a combination of seated and standing, but you will get a great workout. I used to teach other teachers how to teach chair yoga, and they all said the same thing. Oh, I thought it was going to be a piece of cake. I thought it was going to be easy and boring, but
Yeah.
no, I really work hard in this class. So you'd be surprised. Doing yoga from a chair offers you the exact same benefits as any class, any yoga class. You get to be stronger, more flexible, more balanced, and it raises your spirits. You always leave class feeling better about yourself and better about the world. So that's why I love yoga. And it's a spiritual practice for some,
Yeah.
not for all. It's
Mhm.
for others, it's the next best exercise. But for
Mhm.
others, it encompasses everything, your feelings, um, your thoughts, and how you feel about life in general.
Yeah, that is so true. But I also like how you covered being present in the moment. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes there's so much going on, so many balls in the, up in the air, so much happening in the world. What are some of the techniques that people can do to bring themselves back to the present moment? What can
Good
they do?
question.
What do you do to bring yourself back instead of getting caught up with all the chaos that's happening?
Right. Well, of course, meditation and breath work are very much a
Mhm.
part of yoga and my classes. And we always start getting peaceful and quiet and focusing on the breath. And I teach several breathing techniques that will calm the mind. In just 5 minutes, you can see the difference of how you were before you started the breathing technique and how you feel afterwards. Um, and then meditating, just noticing the thoughts. We all have these racing thoughts. They call it the monkey mind that just never stops and gives us a break. So you notice them and then you shift your awareness. It could be on a mantra like, I am relaxing now. And you take a breath. I am relaxing now. Now I am relaxing. So, whatever words you choose, you keep coming back to them to focus on it instead of letting your mind drift onto
Mhm.
worrisome thoughts that we all have, jumping ahead, planning the whole day while you're trying to sit there and quiet your mind. So, you do need a technique often, and it could be counting the breaths or saying a mantra. I am breathing in 1, I am breathing out 1, and you work with the breath and counting at the same time. So it really does work. So my classes, yes, it's physical, but there is a time to meditate, and breath work is very important in this style of yoga that I teach.
Oh, I think
Becoming a
that's
better.
wonderful. It's good advice because, people, they need tools. They need to know, how can I shift this, in their daily life,
Exactly.
and appreciate you sharing your techniques with our audience, which I think is wonderful. The other thing I thought was really good was people's diet and walking,
Mhm.
or movement. I like to say the word movement. People needs movement. And I tell people, for me, you don't have to sit there and look at your watch. I'm gone a half hour. Just enjoy the walk, enjoy the trees. Enjoy the breeze. If you're walking on the beach, just be in the moment. And I loved how you talked about being present, being in the moment, and diet. Has your diet changed, or does people's diet change as they age?
Oh, I think it's necessary. I am dealing with issues myself right now that I never had before. And so, yes,
Mhm.
I have a very restricted diet right now. But I have been a vegetarian, not a vegan, but a vegetarian since 1975. So I go way back. I gave up meat and chicken. And for me, that works. And I've been
Mhm.
eating vegetables and other things that aren't that, but a lot of fish and eggs. You got to get protein. That's what I keep hearing. You must have enough protein in your diet. But yes, we have to pay attention. And if we're eating
Mhm.
still a lot of junk food and loading up on meat, our system can't handle it.
Yeah.
Our organs get older too. We have to remember that. It's not just how we look, but everything going inside, all the organs are aging. So we have to be good to them. And if they're saying, hey, this is not working, all that
Yeah.
sugar you're eating, sugar has become the big enemy now. And
Yeah.
if you're like me with a little sweet tooth, we
I
really have to
do love
moderate.
my sweets.
We have to modify. And the same with drinking. What is it we're drinking? Maybe before alcohol was no problem, but as we get older, it's almost like we become allergic to alcohol.
Mhm.
And so, and drinking all our water, people talk about that all the time. Make sure you're hydrated. And the other thing I want to say is I think we have a sedentary lifestyle. Most of us sit way,
Mhm.
way too much. We
Yeah.
got to get out of the chair or out of the bed and move around. And that's what exercise can be a bad word in some people's mind, but movement. How much are you moving
Yeah.
every
Movement
day?
is important. Mhm.
Whether you say walking is so important or swimming. But if you're sitting in a car for your job a lot of the time,
Yeah.
or sitting in front of a screen, it's so detrimental. When we sit, all our organs kind of compress and
Yeah.
they can't breathe. So we have to get out of the chair and walk around and then come back. So to
No,
keep
that
that in
that
mind.
that's really good because I tend to sit a lot. I do move. I love to walk, and I love to walk the beach as well. But I also know, because of I do readings and I do podcasts and I do videos. I'm on the computer a lot. So I always find getting up, no matter what time I'm at, just take a break,
Take a break.
and it's rejuvenating. And you do have to have movement. And I tell people it's not necessarily exercise. People think they got to work. I go, no, just go for a brisk walk. You don't look at your watch. Just enjoy the
Yeah,
trees, listen to the birds, enjoy the scenic route, and then come back and you feel rejuvenated. But
exactly.
movement that you covered was very, 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 very important to cover. So what I like to do, is there anything else you like to share?
One more thing is
Yes.
our posture. If you
Yes.
walk down the street, you can always tell when someone is older because they're
Yep.
looking down, their upper back is rounded, they're thinking they're going to protect themselves from falling by looking at the ground.
Yep.
That is the worst thing. And I've learned this technique. You can stand up straight, hold your head up, And as you're walking, just lower your eyes. Your head is up, but lower your eyes to see what's in front of you. And in that way, you maintain good posture and you can breathe better. But if you're all slumped over in a chair, like a lot of people, it's detrimental to our health.
That's
So
good
pay
advice.
attention. Pay
Good advice,
attention.
because most people move their head down with their eyes. If they can just
Mhm.
keep their head up and just move the eyes to
Exactly.
practice something new, I think that's a good advice.
It's a good hint. Yes.
And again, how can people get a hold of you?
They can go to my website, anewagingmovement.com. They can go to YouTube, Angelena Craig. They can call me, 941-822-9620. My email is newaging56@gmail.com. So one of those methods will get you to me, and I'm happy to talk to you and explain more about my work or have you as a client.
Yay. We're so thankful to have you, Angelena, and we'll have you back when you get your book done.
Great.
And we'll let people know how they can get a hold of the book and how they can contact you
Definitely.
too at that time. But thank you for joining us. We so appreciate you having you. And we thank all of our followers. Please like us and share our page and help us get the word out. We'd love to have you as a guest, but email me why you'd like to be on my show. We are a healthy lifestyle podcast and spirituality and authors podcast. Have an amazing, prosperous new year and blessings. And thank you again, Angelena.
And namaste to you. Namaste.
International psychic medium and podcast host Sherry Lord. She is one of the most sought after psychic mediums. Book your special readings. Go to www.sherrylord.com.